It's the embargo, please. So, if you would like to put your hand up for questions, and then Jesse will come to you, and then we'll get that done. Okay, who would like to start the first question? Anybody? Okay, Rob.
Jesse, there's obviously 2 new players joined the squad for the trip. How have they integrated? And obviously Paul seems to have had a little bit of a role in bringing Romelu there.
Yeah, they've settled very well. I think the squad that we've got at the moment, it's an easy squad to integrate very quick in, and obviously Paul and Romelu are very close. You can see that off the pitch, and hopefully they do well on the pitch together as well.
Jesse, it's a really important season, obviously, with the World Cup next year. Have you set yourself any personal goals in terms of how you want to improve from last year, maybe scoring more goals? What would you say your personal goals heading into the World Cup year? Obviously, you're going to want to be on the plane to Russia.
Yeah, of course. I think every season you're looking to improve. More goals, more assists. And especially with you saying the World Cup, it's a very important season. But at the moment we've got to focus on the club, perspective first. Help the team with as many trophies as possible, and then focus on whatever happens after that.
Okay, Gary.
One of those 2 in 1 really, but both about players who play in front of you. Your thoughts on Lukaku from what you've seen so far? How exciting it will be to play with him? Jose has just said that it's highly possible that Zlatan could stay as well. Would that be good news?
Yeah, first question, obviously, I think Romelu settled in very well. You see what he did last season for Everton. The amount of goals he scored, and the amount of goals he scored in big games. So if you can bring that to the table with Man United, it'll be a massive help. And the second question, I'm not really read too much into that, so I can't really comment on that question.
Okay, Jamie.
Jesse, Jose on a few occasions last season complained about the lack of goals from sub forwards, and I think you're one of those forwards. Is that fair criticism? That you're one of the players in the degree that you just contribute more? Because a lot of it was Zlatan, wasn't it, last season? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. I think everyone plays a part in the team, and especially for Man United, it's a massive club, and you've got to try and be involved in as many goals as possible. And obviously, it's a thing I'm working on at the moment, and a lot of us are in training as well. So if we can bring it out in the game and help the team, in which way we can, then it'll be a massive help for the club.
Okay, Pat.
Try to compete physically with Romelu already?
Yeah, he's a very strong lad, very physical presence, and I think he's going to cause defenders problems this season. We've seen it in training, we've already witnessed what he can do in training, and if we can bring that to the table in a match, it'll be very helpful for us. I'm not too sure. We've not really put that to the test yet.
Okay, James.
So many changes to the squad since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Is this now the most settled and the strongest United have been, do you think, since then? And is this going to be the best chance of winning the title since Ferguson retired?
I think, with Man United, like I said, it's a big club. You're going to get big players. We've got a squad that's very big, and as long as we pull together, we work together as a team and as a squad, staff included, I think, we'll go very, very far with this team.
Yeah, that's good.
I spoke to other players on other major big teams, and they said that the idea of leaving their city to train in the preseason, they just as soon stay home. They have good facilities to be around their family. Do you like getting away from Manchester and taking these tours, or would you just as soon stay home?
I think, a different environment helps, especially with the warm weather training that we're doing at the moment. It's been very tough, but, it's going to put us in good physical condition for when we get back to Manchester. And, of course, the facilities in Manchester are excellent for us. And, it's good to venture out every now and then and see the fans all around the world.
Is there any further questions? Yep.
Hi, Jesse. I'm from Italian Football TV for a YouTube channel, actually, and I'm just wondering, I know you're big in social media. Do the players ever watch, the fans on YouTube who are, criticizing the players or even praising them for what they're doing on the pitch?
No, I don't think we read too much into that. after a game we like to go home, relax, not read too much into it, and the next day is a new day, and we've got to concentrate on the next game.
Okay, last question for Simon.
Jesse, in terms of your position in the squad, are you now almost becoming a senior player? It's like a couple of years that you've been a regular. Have you got to take on more responsibilities?
Yeah, you could say that. I'm 24 years old now. I've been around the club, a very long time. Been around the first team for a couple of years now, so you could say that. And there is a lot of responsibility. You're playing for the best club in the world, so you've got to, you've got to take the plaudits and you've got to take the criticism as well.
Okay, Paul, last one.
Jesse, you obviously know Marcus very well. Last season, he found it difficult, a bit harder than his first season. Did you see any kind of knocking his confidence, and what do you think he can still achieve at the club?
Oh, he can achieve a lot. He's still only 19 years old. Very humble, very down to earth. Human being, and you see the skills and the quality. He possesses on a football pitch, and he's, like I said, he's still very young. He's going to learn still, and I think the more games he gets, the more confidence he's gonna take on into the next game.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, everyone.
Well, there we go. We've heard from Jose Mourinho, we've heard from Jesse Lingard and David May and Bojan Djordjic alongside me to talk through what we heard about there. And let's start with Jose. One of the sort of headlines that I'm sure you'll read in the papers in the morning was about the fact that United wanted 4 players. 2 are in the door. He says 50% of the deals are done. He'd like 4. He might have to settle for 3. We'll see how things pan out. Interesting statement from the manager.
Interesting, yeah, but as you say, Stowley, it's a time of the season where you bring new players in. I think we will get 4. I don't think he'll settle with a 2. So it's important that we get maybe a couple in, as he said there. There's 4 of the lads who are long-term injuries, so ideally, if you can get another 2 in, that'd be fantastic. Who they are, I don't know. I'm sure the manager's got his eyes on maybe 2 or 3 players out there with potential coming to the club, so yeah.
Yeah, he called it a strange transfer market. We've seen some interesting deals so far, haven't we? Obviously, Romelu and Victor coming here. Kyle Walker confirmed as a Manchester City player a few hours ago. A lot of money being exchanged, but he's saying a lot of clubs aren't sort of digging their heels in, saying we don't want to sell certain players.
I think the only stress, if you can call it a stress, that even if the transfer market is open until the last of August, is that you want your players in as soon as possible to improve the squad and to be on this tour. For Victor Romelu, when they come back to Manchester, everything else would seem so easy. It's like the first day in school. You need a couple of weeks to settle in and get to know your new teammates, and then you can build a squad. 24 hours a day, Maisie knows, in the hotel, you meet people, you go for coffees, you meet up, you talk, you become better friends, and the unity, the strength in the squad just becomes greater. So I think 1 at least is going to come in, and of course Matic was mentioned during this interview. We're not going to speculate much into that, but it's that role in front of the back 4 we are talking about, and I think we're going to see a central midfielder coming in before the end of August, hopefully before, so he can actually settle it in.
Yeah, and he talked about Morata and Matic purely because those names were thrown at him more than anything else, sort of saying that obviously, like every manager says really these days, I'm not going to talk about a player who isn't our player. He's a Real Madrid player, Morata, for example, and it's their right to keep him or sell him depending on what they want to do.
Of course, and these are clubs now that they don't need the money. Years ago, when you could say we'll throw 60, 70 million at players, the clubs need the money. There's so much money in the game now that they don't need to. It's a bottomless pit for some of these teams, and they don't need the money. So if they feel the need to keep hold of them and they want to keep them, then they will do. As I say, the money now doesn't come into it. It's just silly numbers that are being branded around. But I think Morata and those type of players now. I think we've got Lukaku. I don't think we'll go for another forward because we've got the main man there now. Who's he's going to be scoring 25, 30 goals for us next season.
But there could be another forward potentially coming in December or January, as the manager sort of hinted that maybe if Zlatan's recovery goes well and it's deemed to be the right move for Zlatan and indeed for the club at that point, then he might rejoin, because of course at the moment he's a free agent and therefore could rejoin United at some point.
Our manager was proven to me last year as well that he took care of Wayne Rooney, a club legend in that way. And Zlatan is a big personality, he's a big player. Just so he can use the facilities to come back means something, that the door is open. And Zlatan doesn't want to finish, for example, in China MLS. He wants to give it a one last goal before he retires. And he's not one of them people, like the manager was saying, that's going to hide behind his injury. Said, listen, I had a great career, now I'm off somewhere else to earn money. He has plenty of that. He wants to come out from this injury as a winner and come back. And it's nice to hear the door is still open, because when it comes December, January, with the injuries, with suspension, you never know what's going to happen. You're going to need the match winners that will bring that Premier League trophy back to Old Trafford.
And we certainly know that he's one of those match winners, of course. On the striker front, it's nice to hear Jesse talking about his good mate Marcus Rashford there towards the end, saying, of course, and it's funny, we all know this, but it still shocks you sometimes to hear that he is only 19, but still very humble. That's the word Jesse used to describe him and the way he is on the training pitch.
He's a lovely lad, he is. We've had first hand for the last 5 or 6 days watching him train. He's a great lad, he's enjoying his training. Amazingly, he is 19. He's not even close to getting to his potential. I think he's filled out a lot this year. I think he's looking a bigger player, more powerful, and with that comes, I think more of a match winner now, because he's not going to get bullied off the ball and pushed off the ball. So hopefully, I'm sure he will. He'll score many goals for us.
Just a sense that the season is going to be good in some way as well. Hopefully we get a midfielder that comes into double figures in the Premier League, because as Maisie was saying, you have Lukaku 20 plus. You get one of them, Pogba, Mkhitaryan scoring the goals, and the things are looking bright. The future is bright.
Indeed, the future is bright. And the future for us, the short-term future, is of course Match Day Live tomorrow when we take on LA Galaxy, first game of the tour. These two guys will be with us. Hopefully you will as well. See you.
It's the embargo, please. So, if you would like to put your hand up for questions, and then Jesse will come to you, and then we'll get that done. Okay, who would like to start the first question? Anybody? Okay, Rob.
Jesse, there's obviously 2 new players to join the squad for the trip. How have they integrated? And obviously Paul seems to have had a little bit of a role in bringing Romley there.
Yeah, they've settled very well. I think the squad that we've got at the moment, it's an easy squad to integrate very quick in, and obviously Paul and Romelu are very close. You can see that off the pitch, and hopefully they do well on the pitch together as well.
Jesse, it's a really important season, obviously, with the World Cup next year. Have you set yourself any personal goals in terms of how you want to improve from last year, maybe scoring more goals? What would you say your personal goals heading into the World Cup year? Obviously, you're going to want to be on the plane to Russia.
Yeah, of course. I think every season you're looking to improve. More goals, more assists. And especially we'll be saying the World Cup. It's a very important season, but at the moment we've got to focus on the club. Perspective first. Help the team with as many trophies as possible, and then focus on whatever happens after that.
Okay, Gary.
One of those 2-in-1s really, but both about players who play in front of you. Your thoughts on Lukaku from what you've seen so far? How exciting it will be to play with him? Jose has just said that it's highly possible that Zlatan could stay as well. So would that be good news? Yeah,
first question, obviously, I think Romelu settled in very well. You see what he did last season for Everton. The amount of goals he scored, and the amount of goals he scored in big games. So if you can bring that to the table with Man United, it'll be a massive help. And the second question, I'm not really read too much into that, so I can't really comment on that question.
Okay, Jamie.
Jesse, Jose, on a few occasions last season, playing about the lack of goals from sub forwards, and I think you're one of those forwards. Is that fair criticism? That you're one of the players in the degree that you just contribute more to a lot of it, but Zlatan was in last season. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. I think everyone plays a part.